Kyrie's back. There's some things to talk about, basketball world. Let's do it.
Top on. Top on. Top on.
Yo, bam, Kyrie's back.
Sort of. He's back. And, this is my first time kind of talking about it, I guess. I'm happy. I get all this. I listened to the podcast you did with Sam, and I don't disagree with really anything you said. But I'm happy he's back. I've been saying it never made sense to me from the get-go that they did do this from the jump. From a basketball sense, from, Kyrie's personality, it always made most sense to keep him around the team. So it's certainly odd timing to do it, considering the status of the league and the team in general. Obviously, the COVID is running rampant throughout the league. And then, of course, he shows up and he tests positive either the first or second try. So it's underwhelming because there's still obstacles in the way.
Mm-hmm.
But the first time he crosses somebody up and lays one up, we'll be excited.
It was the only thing they could do.
You don't not play Kyrie Irving when you have him. Like I said this from the get-go. If they're in a 7-game series, right, and it's 2-2, I'd love to have Kyrie Irving going back to, Milwaukee in a 2-2 series.
I mean, it's more than that, though. It's the reason why you do it is I think they were honest with what they were saying. Like, I don't think it has anything to do with all these guys on the protocols and guys missing and all that. It's about winning. Am I disappointed with Kyrie? Yeah, I'm disappointed with Kyrie. I think there's a better ways to use his platform. I think there's better allies for him. I think the people attacking Barclays Center and him not saying anything wasn't cool. Like, but
I thought Stephen A. Smith was pretty on point today. It's like Kyrie got his way again. It doesn't feel like he deserves it.
Right.
It feels like he should have just done the right thing, but the Nets were just compounding an already bad situation by vanishing from the team, digging their own heels in.
You already got him.
He's gonna outlast you. He'll
right.
dig in harder. He knows you stand more to lose. He's got his ring.
Exactly. And guess what? Guys like Kyrie get coaches, GMs fired because it's them or him sometimes. And you know what? The owner's paying $110 million in luxury tax.
Right.
Like, not even money going to the players that play for him, just $110 million in luxury tax. And I agree. I want to win a championship too.
Dude, they have to start winning some of these road games easier. They can't be in Detroit on a Tuesday night playing 48 minutes of Kevin Durant.
Exactly. Bottom line, what they was doing was putting Kevin Durant at risk.
You got to protect the other investments.
That's right. And not that Kevin Durant needs protecting or anything like that, but the load that he had to carry, and who's to fault him? He wants to win.
Right. He also wants the MVP.
Yeah. How could we be mad at him for basically just trying to write his history?
I'm not mad at him at all. He's already my second favorite athlete of all time.
I love the guy.
It's Eli Manning. Durant is right. Durant is a title away from him catching Eli on the Pantheon.
You know what? He wins a championship. It's a discussion.
He
wins
Eli
two.
And Durant. Those will be my guys. My Giant, my net, and I'll die talking about those guys.
Well deserved too. So how does this work? Right? Like, My thing is, I think the math they tried to make, not just, I don't think they did this alone. I think they did it with the NBA. Because there's hundreds of millions of dollars at stake here if Kyrie doesn't play. Think
Right.
think about this. You've got Nike who's giving him 11 million. Do you think Nike is going to take the one of the biggest sneaker sales day, which is that Christmas, where those Christmas games where everybody's just spending the entire day watching basketball, that they're going to take that day to not have their 11 million a year, almost I think it's a 200
I,
million dollar
I don't think
contract.
I don't think he's playing on Christmas Day.
I think they tried. I think they tried. I mean, even if he's sitting on the sideline with a suit on, that's good for them.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of the calculation, and I know something is up because there's um mute your mic while the plane's passing over.
Yeah, it's gonna be gone in a second.
Can you mute? And I'll
Yeah,
just
go
run my
ahead.
mouth. Okay. Well, anyway, the I think the calculation they made was, can we get him to the Christmas game? I believe that wholeheartedly because of these leaks coming out of the Nets, saying that Kyrie's in terrific shape. he's he's kept himself, really really fit. He there's no way he's in NBA shape. No way. Like that game, that what you learn playing the game against other NBA players competitively, you can't replace that, right?
He might be able to give you 15 minutes.
And Kyrie's 15 minutes is a very impactful 15 minute. It'll be
Yeah,
a
it sounds more
highlight
like
driven.
17.
Yeah, exactly. So I look, there's that. There's the ratings of that game. The Nets are the showcase game for Christmas Day. Who are they playing? The Warriors.
The Lakers.
The There's no way they were gonna go in there and possibly lose to the Lakers. These things are going through their mind, and they're going through their mind rightfully so. You let Kyrie play, and you move forward. So what's next on the horizon? Like I guess we were supposed to hear today if Harden was
Yeah,
coming back.
I mean, I don't think any of these guys are going to play on Christmas.
That just can't happen. I can't see how that happens.
Well, I mean, have you heard of any of them getting out of the COVID protocol?
Yeah, it's supposed to be 5 days. I don't know if they reached the 5 days yet.
They're not practicing tomorrow. You have to test twice, I think, in 24 hours negative, right?
I think isn't it five straight tests or something like that? 5 days in
That's
a row.
that's for that was for Kyrie because he was just joining the team. But
'Cause-
apparently because he's tested positive, that no longer applies. It just goes to the which is like what? Like how does that
Yo,
work?
it's like the most. It's because of things like this that we can't get past the stupid disease. It's like Kyrie pulls up to practice day one and he has it, and that's not even like an alarm bell, like
Right.
nothing.
And he possibly got closer to returning by having COVID.
But and he has less to do having caught it. And guess what? He might have been the one that because it's not necessarily that you tested for or positive for COVID. It's that you were exposed to COVID that'll get you onto the NBA protocols.
I mean, the Nets had a breakout in their locker room, so it's actually more likely they gave it to him.
That's what I'm saying. But he didn't. He didn't. He must not have been with them. Is what I'm saying. Whoever exposed those other guys, Kevin Durant didn't get it from that person.
It's
Kevin
not
Durant got
necessarily
it
a
from
player. It
someone
could have been
else.
a member of the organization.
No, true, definitely. But I like the conspiracy theory that it was Kyrie. I think that's just way more hilarious.
Probably. I'll tell you what, Matt Sullivan will report that at some point, whether it's true or not.
Listen, who even pays attention to that guy or takes him seriously? All
But
right,
like, dude, when are they coming back? They're not practicing tomorrow. They've already announced. I mean, I doubt the Thursday game is happening. It's been
that's
weird not having games.
It's like people are running out of things to talk about.
Yeah, I mean that Magic game. Like I feel bad for anybody who bought a ticket to that shit.
That was
What
a
was Blake Griffin thinking of that backcourt violation?
yo. Blake Griffin is so limited. He played a good game. I mean, he's out there trying. It's like, don't you
He
hate to
brings he
knock
brings
people that
what?
they just don't have
Sorry,
it no
what?
more?
Yeah, but like he does bring value. He does bring like a grit and a toughness to the team. He's
He's a
probably their most high
shithouse.
energy player.
No, he mucks up the game. It's just I'm just looking at a dude that was top 10 in the NBA at one point. Maybe top 15, top 20 in the NBA at one point. A very all-star player, all NBA player who just can't lay up the basketball. Like he's
Yeah,
so
it's bad.
used to dunking that he tries to like lay up at the front of the rim or like the hard
You said it best. He has no layup package.
zero. He's never
Yeah,
practiced. He hasn't practiced layups in 20 years.
Kyrie
He's
Irving has
all
the best
dunking.
layup practice. He has the best layup package of the league.
And that's partly because he's only really 6'2".
Yeah,
He
I
has to
mean,
have a layup package.
I would assume the Thursday game is not happening, and that they'll definitely try for Christmas. But I've heard there's contingencies where, like, if the net game is seriously like they play it, but the rosters are limited, they may move it to a different time slot.
This is
You
so
know,
stupid.
yeah.
This
But I
is so
guess it's
stupid.
better to just get it over with now if you're the league, right? Just let it run its course through the league.
Yeah, I mean, look, you get it. You get antibodies. But the problem with that is you let it. If as humans are creating antibodies, the virus is making variants, and with
Well, he
every
said, I don't. Did you see any of
uh,
Silver's comments today?
no, I didn't.
So
What he
he
said?
did a pretty lengthy interview with, I believe, Malika Andrews. Um,
Oh, the
he
super investigative reporter.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was her. He basically said that 65 of the league has their booster shot, and there's only a very few breakthrough cases from that group. He also said that 90% of the league currently has the new variant, so that one seems to be ripping through, the league like a fart in a car.
Yeah.
It's hitting everybody who
Somebody tore
smells.
their ass for sure.
Yeah, whoever smelt it dealt it. But so that's to me is somewhat good news. It seems like this is very transmissible, and
Yeah.
you hope, at least for the Nets' perspective, that this is behind them now.
Nah, man. I if the bumpy time is going to be now, I think that's awesome.
I mean, I would think also by April, which is really the most important thing. The cases have seemed to have gone down around that time every year because as the weather gets better, people are more outdoors, and it seems like everybody gets hit hard by it in the winter.
Yeah, that my guess was, and it's a complete and total guess, is that Eric starts to loosen things up in the spring if things can get right. But the crazy thing about this is this current variant is not a problem. But what about the next one?
Well, right. That's the unforeseen is always the scariest part.
That's the part where like the being unvaccinated kind of makes this whole thing. Like the ironic thing is the people who want this to be over is the people who are unvaccinated, but the people who are unvaccinated are the ones that's keeping it from being over. Like this whole thing could have been done if we could have got to 95% vaccinated. We couldn't do it. We're too polarized, dude.
I
Let's.
mean, I've gone through the whole. I've done what I've can.
that's
I got vaccinated twice. I've been boosted. If they say that, I'm assuming this is gonna be something we got to do it every 6 months, and if that's the case, I'll do it. But like I know people, from my hometown that have two separate weddings, right? A lot of cases coming out of those two weddings. Even if you think about these arenas, and how packed they are, you're not really seeing cases coming from that, but I could certainly see it where we get to a point where we're back to half capacity in the arena.
Yeah, I mean, I think looking back at it now, it was pretty good that they made it where the people had to be vaccinated because it would have been a petri dish if
Yeah.